the more effort is made to be free of the center, the more, please listen to this, the more one makes an effort to be free of the center, that very effort strengthens the self. Right? Like those people who go off into meditation of various kinds, trying to impose something upon it, and that me then captures that, identifies with that, and it says I've achieved. But it's still the center. Right? So please, to be first, to understand whether it's possible to be free, there must be no effort. Right? Which doesn't mean doing what one likes. That's clear. No? No? If one doesn't make an effort, then let's do what we like, which is still the movement of the self. Whether you put on a yellow robe or purple robe or join a monastery, it is the self still, identified with an ideal and pursuing that ideal through great effort. But the movement is from the center. I want to be this clear, isn't it? So what is one to do? If you are not to make an effort, because you see the truth of it, that the more you make an effort, the greater the travail of the self. It is the self that's making an effort to be free of itself. And therefore it's still involved in it. Imagining that it'll be free, it'll be imagining that it'll be, etc., etc. But it is still the activity of the center, me. Then what is one to do? Before we go into that, is there a real self apart from the self created by thought with its images? The question says, is there a real self? Many people feel that. The Hindus have said there is the highest principle, which is the self. And we have imagined also that there is a real self apart from the me. You all, I'm sure, feel that there's something else beyond this me, which is called the higher self or the sublime self or the supreme self. The moment we use the word self or use any word to describe that which is beyond the self, the me, is still the self. The first thing to realize is it possible to be free of the self without becoming a vegetable, without becoming absent-minded, somewhat lunatic, and so on, so on, so on? Is it possible? Which means what? Is it possible to be totally free from attachment? That's one of the attributes, one of the qualities of the self, right? Right, sir? I am attached to my reputation. I am attached to my name. I am attached to my experience. I am attached to what I have said. And so on. So, is it possible to be free from all attachments? Work it out, sirs. If you really want to be free of the self, no attachment. Which doesn't mean you become detached, indifferent, callous, shut yourself away, which is another form of the self. You understand? Before it was attached, now it says I won't be attached. It is still the movement of the self. So, if a person serious, really concerned, because the world is divided, is this, the me and the you, we and they, we British and they French, rather the Irish. The black and the white and the brown. So is it possible, without effort, to be free of attachment to your wife, to your children, to your name? You can't very well be detached from your bank account if you have one. Then the bank profits from it. But to be detached, know what it means. Not to be identified with anything. With your country, with your God, with your nothing. Therefore, when you are really deeply, basically not attached, then from that deep sense of no attachment comes responsibility. Not responsibility to my wife, to my children, to my nephew, niece. This sense of responsibility. Right? Will you do it? That is the question. We can talk everlastingly, put into different words, but when it comes to testing it, active, we don't seem to want to do it. And so we prefer to go on as we are, status quo, slightly modified, but carry on with our quarrels, with our, all the things that are happening in the world. And to be free from your own experience, from your own knowledge, from your own accumulated perception. You understand all this? So it is possible if you go at it. And it doesn't take time. That's one of our excuses, that we must have time to be free. When you see one of the major factors of the self is attachment, and you see what it does in the world, and what it does in your relationship with another, separation, all the rest, ultimately quarrels, divorce, all the ugliness of relationship. If you see the truth of attachment, then that very truth is so. It is actual. Then you're free from it. Your own perception sets you free. Right? Will you do it?